people with colitis, and you could turn that onto a workshop on stress. Right here, if you can see, you can turn any workshop into a workshop on stress. This lecture I'm about to show you is what made me a millionaire. This one. Because back in the early 1980s, they had just discovered there was stress. In 1970, there was no stress. You see? Well, if you had it, they didn't know what it was. They didn't have a label for it. The word stress did not appear until Hans Selye wrote his book. Anybody remember Hans Selye? What was the name of his book? Well, there were several books. One was Stress Without the Stress, Stress of Life. He was the leading authority on stress in the world. I personally got to meet with him. I was touring, doing lectures at the time. So Hans Selye was like, I mean, when he came out with this book, he was like, pack him in 3,000 people at a lecture. And I would be like, I guess I was like, what's that band that plays in the beginning before the star comes out? I was the opening act. So I'd be an opening act for Hans Selye. But anyway, I went back and started doing workshops on stress. I would advertise them on radio, in the newspaper, invite my patients to come to bring family and friends, and I would fill up a hotel, and I would have as many people as here today, if not more, at my stress lectures in Somerset, New Jersey. I would go on stage, I would talk for 1 hour, and I would sign up 90 new ones. Where's Freddie? He knew. He was back in my... Freddie's not back yet? Oh, there he is. What are you doing? Moving around? You trying to confuse me? So Freddie was my associate doctor back in 1873. And that was just when we hadn't really started our rocket ride at that time, Freddie, but we were seeing around 600 a week. But so he can tell you this is all true because he was there. He's a witness. I'm not making all this up. He didn't say the sprinkler tables, though. He missed that. All right, so this lecture made me a millionaire. I'm going to go through it rather quickly, and here we go. So actually, Rye, I'm going to let you do part of it. Yeah, I'm killing you. Go crap, I'll never come back. This is not how to win friends and influence people. All right, so Rye, I just want to show you how hard it is.
Becomes your competition.
Huh?
Now I know why everybody turns into your competition.
He says, now I know why when people do better, they leave you and become your competition because you piss them off. All right, Ryan, if that's how you want to do it, I'll leave you alone. All right, so this is a workshop. Thank you. Now, so I did my introduction. I consider my patients tell me I'm the best doctor they ever met, not only because of the results that we get, but because of how much we care about them. Today's workshop could change your life and the lives of people you know, so please pay careful attention. Let's get started. You see, and then you turn on the slide projector and you read it to them. Take it away. We'll do a duet.
All right. Let's start with the definition of stress. Stress is a heightened response to routine and out of the ordinary conditions and events.
I'll do the second one. We'll go back and forth. All right, now this heightened response unfortunately results in the secretion of hormones, which over time can lead to numerous health problems.
Statistics of stress. 70 to 80% of all visits to the doctor are for stress-related illnesses. People who experience heightened levels of anxiety are 4 to 5 times more likely to have a fatal heart attack or a stroke. 50% of all illnesses are caused by stress.
During the past 10 years, stress-related on-the-job injuries have increased from 5 to 15% of the workforce. 70% of people surveyed said they felt stressed in a typical day at work. 43% surveyed said they suffered noticeable physical symptoms and burnout. Now, the difference between a black belt in public speaking, right, and a novice, and you'll sign up 50% as a novice, you go up to 90 to 100% as a black belt, is you bring the audience into the talk, like this. So how many of you have a job? Raise your hand. How many of you have ever had stress on your job? Raise your hand. You see? So it's the involvement of the audience in the talk that differentiates the black belt from the regular guy. Now, you know, you just read the slides, but you got to figure out ways to, you know, check it out with the audience. So see if you could do that yourself. Dale, I didn't see him this weekend. Dale Hansen, are you? Wait, when'd you get here? Okay, I was going, what the heck? I haven't seen him. Anyway, Dale, good to see you. Could I get you to see Jim real quick? All right, so take it away. Right.
Some areas of life that can cause stress are one's job, money, relationships, children, junk food, and medical drugs. How many people are on medical drugs?
No, don't go to that one.
Why not?
Well, you could. I would start with this. How many have a job? How about money? Talk about money. Yes, about money.
How many people have money problems, have credit cards, debt, things that would cause you to worry and not be able to sleep at night?
Okay, you might go like this. How many of you have ever had any stress related to money? See, that's a little bit. Raise your hand if you're a pauper going broke and bankrupt. You know, I mean, people don't volunteer that. You know, I mean, you got to be a little sensitive. How many of you are so screwed up financially your wife wants to leave you? Raise your hand. All right, so to avoid stress, you would need to basically avoid life.
One of the world's early researchers on stress was Dr. Hans Selye.
Saley. Right.
Selye,
Yeah.
MD. In his research, he documented 3 stages a whole person goes through in response to situations in life, which are...
Now, by the way, that is Hans Saley, and I got to tell you, I was with him, and we were backstage, and I went, Hans, and he went, ah! He was the most stressed out person I have ever met in my life. This is, where'd he go? Mark, what happened? Oh, there. Okay, anyway, where'd he go? This is Hans Saley right here, folks. That's him when he was 17. This guy, Freddie, was the most stressed out person. Seriously, we would go out on stage and he'd have to sit. He couldn't stand up. Guy was like a wreck. Okay, anyway, just a little aside there. All right, so, it's my turn. All right, now the alarm stage. Now, the first thing that puts a person under stress is something that is alarming. It's upsetting. You walk in a house, you smell smoke. Alarm stage. Your daughter says, I'd like to introduce you to my new boyfriend, and half of his face is tattooed. Raise your hand if we have entered the alarm stage. You understand? You're in a car, you're driving down the road, and you hear behind you. Okay, raise your hand if you're in the alarm stage. Need something, Chris? Okay, anyway, you're entering the alarm stage. All right, now, so that's the first step with stress. Okay, right?
The second stage is the resistance stage. The body either adapts to the threat or successfully resists it and returns to normal. As in an earlier example, you slow down, the police car passes, and you relax.
See how that would go? So, in other words, the whole thing's kind of resolved. You walk in the house, you smell smoke, and you go over there, and the toaster has got something like smoke coming out of the toaster. You know it's a piece of bread. The house ain't going down in smoke. So you kind of chill out. Raise your hand if you understand. You get alarmed, and then you can chill out. All right, but now the next stage, however, let's suppose the police car actually pulls you over and gives you a ticket and tells you you will have to appear in court because you were going so fast, you're going to be before me and the judge in 4 weeks. Raise your hand if you can see for the next 4 weeks, you could be having stress every day. You see what I mean? So the next stage is actually called the exhaustion stage because your body fails to return to normal as in stage B. This can occur from a prolonged upsetting experience, lowered body resistance, or some form of body malfunction where little things bother you a lot. You see what I mean? Take a breath.
In the exhaustion stage, the nervous system overreacts and stimulates the adrenal glands to activate and secrete their hormones.
Right. Now, to heighten the neurological response causes up to 50 different hormones manufactured by the adrenal glands to be released. These adrenal hormones, continuously released over time, could destroy your health.
One adrenal hormone, adrenaline, gives you a boost of energy and it causes the heart to beat harder in order to increase circulation. Over time, this can cause heart disease and or high blood pressure.
Okay, now, we're not going to go into these in detail because we went over these earlier, right? So this is about other hormones that are secreted by the adrenal glands. And we don't need to go over this because you and I already talked about this earlier. So we're just pointing out the different hormones and how they can affect them. Now, there are different tests you can do for the adrenal glands. The first one is blood pressure laying down and standing. From laying down to standing, how much should the blood pressure go up? How much? Okay, I'll give you a couple choices. 1, 10, 300,000. Pick one. 10! Excellent choice, right? Raise your hand if it's 10. 10's the right answer. All right, so that's one test. Now here's another test.
Oh, another test is called the paradoxical pupillary response.
Not poop response, pupillary response. It's not a paradoxical poopy response. It's a pupillary response. Go ahead.
Your pupils should become smaller and remain smaller with light continually shined in for about 30 seconds. If it does not stay closed, it can indicate that you have weak adrenal glands.
So, Ed, when I was talking to the guys on the board in Michigan, I mean, every chiropractic state is different, but Michigan, oh, you're no longer in Michigan, you're over in Pennsylvania, but remember in Michigan, you can take people's blood pressure. Chiropractors are not allowed to use a blood pressure cuff in Michigan, so I was going to tell you, we use the light one in Michigan to get around that law. So anyway, you shine a light in a person's eye, do not use a candle. Don't put a candle up next to it, because the wax, when it drips on them, is terrible. All right, so you're going to shine a light in there, and the pupil should contract. For how long?
The whole 30 seconds.
Let's see. For how long?
30 seconds.
Thank you very much. You're the only guy in the audience. How long should the pupil contract? Okay, so it doesn't go like this. Hit him with the light, pull it away, and it stays contracted for 30 seconds. You've got to hold the light in the eye. The pupil will contract, and it'll stay shut. If it opens back up within the 30 seconds, you got weak adrenal glands. Now, usually with bad adrenal glands, it goes like this. Pupil shuts down, opens, closes, like that. It shows that the sympathetic nervous system and the adrenal glands are not functioning properly. All right, now, what are the primary symptoms of stress? We go over those, and now we're getting to the real part of the workshop, filling out a stress survey. Now, this is the key to new ones. The introduction's helpful, the close is very good. But without this, no new ones. So take out a pen and paper as I show you how to do this. Now, when you're doing the survey, the key to this one, Rod, is you've got to get them to fill it out. So you're going to give them a reason to fill it out, because if you don't give them a reason, they don't fill it out. All right, now we're going to ask you to please fill out the stress survey with me to see how much stress you're under. But there are two reasons to fill it out. The first reason is everything else I'm going to teach is based on the survey. You don't fill out the survey, you're not going to learn anything else. You must fill out the survey. The second reason to do the survey is we are going to have a drawing tomorrow, not tonight, tomorrow. Write this down. And one-third of you are going to win prizes. Like what? 1 week at the YMCA, 1 week of yoga, half off at a massage parlor. No, I mean in my office for the masseuse. See, you see what I mean? So, in other words, I'm going to get them to fill it out with the motive that they can get a gift. But where do you think they're going to have to go to pick up the gift? My office. You understand? That is the incentive to fill out the survey. Now, when you walk through the survey, I'll show you how you do it. Let's start off with getting your name, and I want to know your age. The reason I want to know your age is depending on your health problem. You put down arthritis and you're 16, that's different than if you have arthritis and you're 68. So I need your age. You've got to take them through, well, maybe not in Puerto Rico. People are very friendly there. By the way, they came all the way from Puerto Rico to be at our seminar. Can we give them a round of applause for joining us from Puerto Rico? She's my only chiropractic client in Puerto Rico, so we expect her to have now the largest practice in all of Puerto Rico. So anyway, now, the key to the survey is knowing how to do this part, so watch me do it. And by the way, as I do it with you, be honest. You're my audience. If I ask you, do you got low back pain, then raise your hand. In other words, don't cheat, don't lie, just help. How many of you here today yourself have had a headache in the last 30 days? Even if it was a minor one. If you did, raise your hand. Hold them up, hold them up, hold them up. Okay, now, the reason, Brian, you go, hold them up, hold them up, hold them up, is because if you watch the audience, every time I said it, another hand went up. The second problem is fatigue. Now, under this one, if you'd write it down, What I mean by this is there at least one day in the last 30 days where you said, I wish I had